Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the GVT show. I'm your host, Kuma Victor Hines, and as always, it is a pleasure to have you here with me. And so, welcome to the first review show of the 2020-21 Premier League season after match day 1. And what a start that we got off to in the English Premier League. Absolutely captivating, enthralling, and entertaining. Not one game you could take your eye off because they were all similar and thoroughly entertaining and giving us what we all expect of the English Premiership Football League. Now, we saw some new faces making their debuts for their new clubs and some new faces making their debuts in the Premier League, entertaining us and making their first step in English football. Now, we're going to get into that, but in case you missed it, this is what went down in the Premier League this past weekend. Now, kicking off the 2020-21 season was Arsenal up against Fulham with Mikel Arteta's boys thrashing the new boys by 3-0. New boy Willian with 2 assists. Gabriel Magalhaes on the score sheet after his first game for Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta perhaps making a statement for what he expects his team to go through this next season. Now, Liverpool and Leeds played out in perhaps the most entertaining game of the weekend. A 7-goal thriller of a game with Liverpool just edging Leeds to the victory with a 4-3 victory over the new boys, and Leeds making a statement that, you know what, they're not here to play. They've been here before and they want to stay here. They want to regain the type of status that they had before, because we all know Leeds used to be a powerhouse in English football, and they just showed the English champions, the reigning English champions, that, you know what, we're here and we want that trophy. Now, a bit of a far-fetched ambition. However, in this league, we all know that anything is possible. Now, Crystal Palace and Southampton played out a 1-0 game with Crystal Palace and Wilfred Zaha giving his club the victory. And we all know Wilfred Zaha is looking to move away from Crystal Palace, and we've had rumors about him and Borussia Dortmund in case Jadon Sancho is to leave Borussia Dortmund. However, he is playing his game and playing his trade for Crystal Palace, and he edged them to a 1-0 victory, giving them all 3 points on opening weekend. Now, Newcastle United up against West Ham. New boys, Callum Wilson and Jeff Hendrick giving the Magpies all the 3 points with 2 goals, 1 goal each from both of them, and giving them a 2-0 victory over West Ham United. The Hammers, well, it looks like nothing is changing. We all have expectations for them, but nothing is changing. And from Newcastle's perspective, this is a huge boost as the season starts. Now, Tottenham Hotspur up against Everton. Jose Mourinho's boys with yet another detriment on opening weekend. Now, Jose Mourinho is always known to have a wonderful second season. However, from the way things are starting off, it could be a really long season. Now, Everton won the game by 1-0 with Calvert-Lewin scoring with a powering header to give Everton all the 3 points. And we got to see new boys, James Rodriguez, Alan, and Nukure wearing the first Everton colours and playing out what was a really impressive game from all the new boys that Carlo Ancelotti brought into this Everton club. And they look to be an exciting club and one to watch over the course of this upcoming season. Now, West Bromwich Albion against Leicester City. Jamie Vardy starting off where he left off last season. 2 penalties, a brace, and giving Leicester City all the 3 points on opening weekend. The other goal being scored by, give me a minute. The other goal being scored by new boy Timothy Castagne, making his debut for Leicester and his debut in the Premier League. Well, it was a wonderful day and a wonderful opening weekend for the new boys because they had stunning performances, and I'm going to get into all that, and I'll be talking to you who I think was my standout debutant on opening weekend. Now, Sheffield United up against Wolves. Wolves defeated Sheffield by 2-0. Raul Jimenez, their talisman, on the score sheet, and Romain Sayes with a towering header to give Wolves all the 3 points on opening weekend. And Chelsea, this is the team that we all were waiting to see. Chelsea have made 8 new signings this transfer summer, but we only got to see 2 of them due to injury problems, and perhaps as well as Thiago Silva, who hasn't trained for the club up to this point due to COVID regulations. But however, we got to see Kai Havertz and Timo Werner in action for the first time in the Premier League for Frank Lampard and Chelsea. Now, Kai Havertz had a pretty dire game, if I'm to be honest. But however, this is the first game, first official match with his new boys and with his new teammates, and they're only going to get better. And watching Chelsea play, they have a lot of potential to just walk through this Premier League season. Once these set of players manage to get the team chemistry and get to know how each other play, then they're going to be a force to reckon with. And now Timo Werner did not get on the score sheet, but we saw what he used to do for RB Leipzig and the reason why Frank Lampard decided to go out and sign him. He was good on the ball. He was floating all around the forward areas. He was on the right wing, on the left wing, making those impressive runs. His speed was deafening and was, how can I say, his speed was a terror to those Brighton defenders. It was a pity that he did not get on the score sheet. However, his work ethic just showed that, you know what, this is what Chelsea were missing. Tammy Abraham did a pretty decent job for Chelsea last season as their number 9. However, this is the number 9 that Frank Lampard wanted at this club. And watching that game, he can sleep peacefully, going to bed knowing that, you know what, now this is the number 9 that I want, because he can play off the ball. He can get into those threatening areas, those deadly areas, and also he can play off the ball, play off other players, and still get you the goals. And I can't wait to see him. From the moment he gets his first goal, I'm sure that it's going to be raining goals. Hakim Ziyech did not play. I'm eager and curious and anxious to see how this kid plays, how he can actually link up with Timo Werner and get the goals. Christian Pulisic had to pull out due to injury, and this is one major flaw and perhaps one major concern that all American fans who are Chelsea and are big fans of Christian Pulisic, Chelsea fans, and even Frank Lampard himself should be worried about, because he's having injury after injury. And with him being, with his speed being one of the deadliest weapons that he has in his artillery, he is prone to injuries. And if he doesn't manage to get his fitness right, and if he doesn't manage to actually get himself right and get onto the right track with the way he plays his games, then I have a really big concern for him that he could actually not reach the potential that we expect him to be. At this rate, at the rate that we saw him perform last season, he has the potential to go on and be the best American soccer player, to play in the Premier League, not only in the Premier League, but even for the national team. But he has to keep fit. He has to get his fitness right and stay on the pitch. He has to be consistent. You know, he has to play full seasons. You see the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, you see the likes of Kylian Mbappe. You know, you have to be consistent. You have to play week in, week out. We don't want players who come in and are out for like a matter of like for 4 months or 3 months, come back in, play a few rounds of games, then out again. That way, you know, Chelsea will actually look at it and be like, you know what, our patience is running out. And with all these boys coming in, all the money that Chelsea has to go out and spend, he has to keep himself fit. Otherwise, he could find himself losing out a place in this Chelsea lineup. Now, on to the new boys. I want to talk about the new boys. We saw wonderful debuts from the players making debuts for their clubs and in the Premier League. I'll start off with Arsenal, where Gabriel Magalhaes and Willian showed just exactly why Arteta wanted them in their club at Arsenal. Magalhaes kept that defense rock solid. Fulham had nowhere to go, and Willian setting up 2 goals. The first one for Gabriel Magalhaes, and the second one for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. We could see him comfortable, and he felt comfortable in the team already. He was spreading balls, you know, switching balls from wing to wing, getting forward in those forward positions. This is exactly what Arsenal were lacking with Nicola Pepe last season, and now they've gotten a Premier League proven winger in Willian, who we've seen dazzle the Premier League in English football, you know, in years past, and here he is right now at Arsenal, playing some entertaining football and doing exactly what the Arsenal fans want and exactly what Mikel Arteta wants to take Arsenal to the next club. And if I'm going to rate him, I'm going to rate his performance over the previous weekend as a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10. For Chelsea, Timo Werner had really good work ethic, was getting into good positions, he was making wonderful runs, just did not get a goal. However, you can see potential that, you know what, he is going to be a deadly striker, that, you know what, and once he gets comfortable with his new teammates, once he gets used to the league, he's going to be banging in those goals. So Timo Werner, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Over his performance for the last weekend. Now we go to Newcastle United, where Callum Wilson and Jeff Hendrick, both new boys for Newcastle United, scored on their debuts. And you know what? It doesn't get much better than that. Debut, goal, 3 points. You know, 7 out of 10 for the both of them. Good to go. I'm gonna go on to Leicester City. Leicester City had one new debutant actually on the score sheet in Timothy Castagne, and he was a threat in that Leicester side. He was a threat to the West Bromwich Albion defense, and you could see him getting forward all the time, and they wanted to get the ball to him, and was bringing in some really good passes, really good crosses, and was actually a threat in that forward position. So Timothy Castagne, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Now Everton is the club that made a lot of signings, I should say. Carlo Ancelotti went out on a spree as well, not as much as Chelsea, but equally had a lot of signings. So Everton, we had James Rodriguez, we had Doucouré, we had Alan from Napoli. And I have to say, all these new players, this Everton team, actually looked pretty decent. They looked comfortable, and they got into the system. They're already getting into the system that Carlo Ancelotti wants them to play. James Rodriguez was controlling the midfield, you know, having those cheeky dribbles, spreading the ball, playing players through, and we could see him actually trying to also go in and try to get the goals, you know, with that whip on the ball where he can curve the ball and, you know, come up with a spectacular goal. James Rodriguez, he's perhaps excited, but that excitement, that happiness to be under a coach who believes in you, a coach who wants to play around you, is going to go a long way for Everton and for James Rodriguez. I have really high expectations for him, and perhaps next weekend we could see him actually getting a goal. So James Rodriguez, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Now, Doucouré handled the midfield pretty well also. Defensively, he was good going forward as well. And so I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 as well. Now, Alan held down that midfield. He shielded that back four in a way that Everton has never had a player of that caliber. You know, he shielded that back four. He was solid. When he got the ball, he spread the ball, giving the ball to Doucouré and allowing them to go forward. And once it was time to defend, he sat back, and there was no way for Tottenham Hotspur. So Alan, to me, was my man of the match in that game, and I'm going to give him 7 out of 10 as well. Now, for Tottenham Hotspur, we did see some debutants for them as well. Højbjerg making his debut for Spurs, and so did Doherty. Now, Højbjerg, he had a bittersweet game, I should say, in my opinion. A bittersweet game. He was good on some occasions, and there were some occasions where he made some decisions, you know, like, no. You're not supposed to do that. You should have done this instead of doing this. But however, if with a lot more time, you know, with more games under his belt, and him getting more used to the players around him, and, you know, trying to instill that system that Mourinho wants him to play, then maybe we could see him becoming one of the best defensive midfielders in the league and at Spurs. But for now, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. He had a really average performance. Now, we had Doherty as well. Doherty was good going forward. It was good defensively. He had one good chance that, you know, would have put Tottenham Hotspur in the lead and perhaps giving them that confidence to go on and score. However, he missed a really open goal. He missed the sitter. It was one and only the keeper and missed the sitter. And he had an average game. However, I'm going to give him a 4.5 out of 10. So that is what went down in the Premier League on opening weekend. It was goals all around. And next weekend even ought to be much better, because now we had no Manchester United and we had no Manchester City. However, they are going to be in action next weekend. And mind you, we have Liverpool up against Chelsea on match day 2. That ought to be one heck of a game. So the Premier League is back, and we all know what comes with that. Entertainment, captivity. The Premier League is the best league in the world, in my opinion, and from opening day. I can't wait for this season. The 2020-21 season is going to be one hell of a season, and I doubt it's going to be the same scenario as last season where Liverpool ran away with it, or the previous season where Manchester City also to some degree, were heads and shoulders above anybody else. This season, it is an open field. It is an open playing field. Arsenal look good. Chelsea look good. Manchester City look good. We haven't seen them play, but they look good. Liverpool, perhaps a step down from where they were last season. However, still a team not to be underlooked. Manchester United looking like a team that could surprise some people, a few people this season. So this season ought to be a spectacle, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait to get into more of it, and I can't wait to see you next week. And for now, I'm going to end this show. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out for now.